Hello everyone, ARG back with some more Franchise Hockey Manager 9, and today we have some NHL playoffs hockey. We have 3 games left to the regular season, and then we are going to be heading off to the playoffs. No, if you thought we were going to be watching real time or 2023 playoff hockey, first of all, you know nothing about hockey, and second of all, yeah. So yeah, we have 3 games left. We're probably going to be in the playoffs. I think even if we lose all 3 games that we have remaining, we're going to be in. So that is happening. We just don't know who we are going to be facing. Now, it is the super awesome playoff format that lasted a whole 2 years in the history of the NHL. The one that I really like, and that I seem to be the only one that likes it that way, where, one plays against 16 regardless of conferences and everything. So you can have an LA Montreal matchup in the first round, or, Calgary Hartford, or, whatever. So I do like that, but not a whole lot of people like that. I like it because you can get a real rivalry as a Stanley Cup final. You can't get that nowadays. In 2023, you cannot get Boston against Montreal in the Stanley Cup final. You might get it in the first round, and people are like, oh yeah, what a rivalry in the first round and everything, but, is there really a whole lot of rivalry if Boston makes it into the Stanley Cup finals against San Jose, No, I know San Jose won't make it this year. They're not very good, but you understand what I mean. And the Stanley Cup final is pretty much always like that. It's always pretty much 2 teams that, don't really care about each other, and I think it's a little bit lackluster. Now, of course, people are going to tell me, well, teams leave all of their energy in the first few rounds against the rivals and everything, and then they come to the Stanley Cup final and they're hurt, they're tired and everything, but still, I would love to go back to a system where you can get a Stanley Cup final between 2 rivals that fucking hate each other. That would be pretty interesting, I think. But anyway, enough of that. So we are 7th in the conference. We have, as I said, 3 games left to go before the start of the playoffs. We have 2 injuries. Jay Wells is on injured reserve, but he should come back in time for the playoffs. Matty Agman is playing hurt day to day until the end of the season, so he hasn't been playing all that much since he got that injury. The coach is all reluctant into doing that, I suppose. Right, so we have 2 home games, 1 away game left, and that starts today at home against the Quebec Nordiques. Now that's the team we're trying to catch up to, right? We're 2 points behind. We played the exact same amount of games. If we were to beat them, we would leapfrog them, because that would give us 1 more win. They have 2 more ties than us, but that would give us 1 more win, sorry. So we might be able to do that. We are 1-2 against Quebec this season. We're going to go ahead and start now so that we can go through the playoffs and see if the Hartford Whalers are going to win their first Stanley Cup. They're not. Probably not. Don't bet your house on that, alright? Alright. Now, sadly, the coach has made Mark Messier a left winger. I don't know how I feel about that, so... Right, so Quebec is going to go with Ron Lowe in net. We are going to go with Gilles Gilbert, who became our starter after I acquired him off waivers. Of course, go Whalers go. Oh, we needed that game to catch up to Quebec City, and we, as we say, dumped in the shovel. We lost 8-2. I think the expression for Americans is we shit the bed, but where I'm from, if you translate what we say, that's dumping in the shovel. Oh dear God, our goaltending was not there. Like, we outshot Quebec City 23-22 and we lost 8-2. That means that we made 14 saves this entire game. Right, so Delanter was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals and 2 assists. Phil Russell was the second star with 3 assists, and O'Ganson was the third star with 2 assists. We had 8,465 people that thought that maybe we would leapfrog the Nordiques, but it didn't happen. 4 goals in the first period for the Nordiques. It was already 4-0 Quebec City after 1. We had a fight between Brian Baltimore and Kurt Brackenbury. Then in the second period, the Nordiques added 2 more goals, made it 6-0 after 2. Then in the third period, they made it 7-0. Then Mark Missy scored on the power play from Dave Poulin and Paul Coffey, made it 7-1. Then the Nordiques scored again, made it 8-1. And then we scored again. Brent Sutter scored unassisted, made it 8-2. Yeah, we were never in this game. Paul Coffey fought Dale Hunter, and that was that. Let's move on to the next game. That won't be any easier because it's going to be at the Forum in Montreal. Suspension for Vancouver's Rick Vive. He is going to miss 7 games. Alright. Owner confidence update. Harold Baldwin is satisfied with the team's performance this season. Alright, taking a longer view, okay, fans aren't thrilled, and alright, so pretty much the same shit as usual. New clique form. One of your assistants reports that a new player clique has formed. Gordy Roberts, Mark Renault, Glenn Anderson, and John Garrett will tend to take each other's side in any conflicts within the team. Cliques have a negative effect on team harmony, so you should consider getting rid of one or more of those players if you're not confident in your player management skills ability to dissolve the clique over time. If a clique is reduced to fewer than 3 players, it will break up. Oh. Well, Mark Renault is probably going to be sent down soon as Jay Wells comes back. I don't know if that counts as, breaking them apart. So there's a clique. Alright, so we keep having problems, right? Gordy Roberts is starting to be a problem. I'm gonna need to trade him, maybe. And newly acquired Glenn Anderson here, trying to blend in by getting in the clique here. Jay Wells on the verge of returning. Okay, my team harmony is good, but I guess it could be better because of the clique. Alright, now let's take a look at the news. Dennis Marouk has a good game, 3 goals and 2 assists against the Bruins. Rick Middleton extends his point streak to 19 games. In that same game, he had 2 goals. Rick Keogh has a memorable game. He had 3 goals and an assist against the Red Wings. And I like to remember for Orest Kindrachuk in that same game, he had 5 assists. Wow. Carol Vadnais has recorded 1,000 games played, didn't get a point. That was against the Islanders. Carol Vadnais is 35 years old and he is a 2-star player. Right, Randy Kennywort, Denny Sayre feeling better. So we have a clique. Does it show anywhere, like in here? No. What if I... Where would it say that? I guess nowhere. You have to remember who's in the clique, I suppose. Or maybe it says, like, somewhere near. I would think maybe. I don't know. Oh, there you go. Can I intervene? What is the 5 in number? Oh, I think it says the players on the left side of the list are upset with all the players listed on the right. Okay, a 5 out of what? Is it 5, 10, 100? I don't know. I think I'm gonna intervene for the clique. I'm not sure I like that there's a clique. Well, it did nothing. I love those buttons that you press and nothing happens. All right. Well, can't say that I'm too sure how that works, to be honest with you. So we are going to kind of leave it as is for now. We'll see if things go back to normal after that I send Mark Renault down, which it might. I mean, he's not on the team. Alright, so we are now in Montreal to play against the Montreal Canadiens. They are 46-20-12. That's good for first in the conference. We are 1-1-1 against Montreal this season. We are playing 500 hockey against them. What would be wonderful would be to beat them in their own building so that they know what's what. Gilles Gilbert is going to be in net for the Whalers. He's going to try to redeem himself after that horrible outing against the Quebec Nordiques. Bob Sauvé is going to be in net for Montreal. And of course, go Hartford, go. We lost 3-0, so we had won 5 games in a row, I think 5 or 6 games in a row to end the month of March. And now 2 losses in a row, and this one 3-0 stings in Montreal. We couldn't muster a goal. We were outshot 36-17. Yvon Lambert was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 2 assists. Peter McNabb was the second star with 2 goals. And Jeffrion was the third star with an assist. Not a whole lot to talk about. We did have a fight between Mario Tremblay and Marc Messier. That's about it, though. Right, so Kim Claxon, Fred Barrett, Gary Bromley, and Neil Komatovsky have been put on waivers. I'm gonna advance one more day. Right, Open Ice leads to a productive night for Denis Savard. He had 4 assists against the Kings. Rick Middleton's point streak ended at 19 games. He was held scoreless against Pittsburgh. And Jay Wells is fully recovered. Can I bring him in? I can. Jay Wells in. Mark Renault down. Let's take a look. I'm kind of curious to see. Yeah, it's still showing. So even if you send him down, or maybe I need to advance a day so that it like save the move. I guess we'll see after the game against Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh is in town. They are 28, 35, and 16th. That's good for 8th in the conference. They are only 1 point behind us, so they can leapfrog us with a win here. That would be bad. We don't want that. And we are 0-3 this season against Pittsburgh, so we haven't been able to beat them, not even once. So right now is a good time for our first win of the season against Pittsburgh, which would happen on the last game of the season, if that were the case. Greg Middens in net for Pittsburgh, Gilles Gilbert's in net for Hartford, and of course, go Whalers go. Let's finish the season with a win to propel us into the playoffs. Oh yeah, 7-0. Take that, Pittsburgh. I can't even say take that, Sidney Crosby. I don't even think he's born yet. No, he's not. Alright, so Hartford outshot Pittsburgh 31-18 in that one. Rick Aduano was the first star of the game. He had 3 goals and an assist. Really good game for him. Glenn Anderson was the second star with 3 assists, and Jordy Douglas was the third star with 2 goals and an assist. Looks like our second line had quite the game here. 7,764 people in attendance for the game. Jordy Douglas opened up the scoring in the first period. That was a power play goal from Mike Rogers. Then Mike Rogers scored short-handed from Bill Bennett and Rob Ramage. 2-0 Hartford after 1. Then in the second period, Rick Aduano scored from Glenn Anderson and Jay Wells. 3-0 Hartford after 2. And we added 4 more goals. Rick Aduano from Glenn Anderson and Gordy Roberts. Then Jordy Douglas from Rick Aduano. Then Rick Aduano from Glenn Anderson and Jordy Douglas. And finally, Greg Carroll scored his 15th of the season from Mark Messier and Bob Stevenson. That was a 7-0 victory. And nice trouncing of the Penguins to end the season. Good game for Rick Aduano. He had 3 goals and an assist, as we saw. Great night for Claude Larose with the Rangers. He had a hat-trick against the Flyers. And Borje Salming extends his assist streak to 8 games with 2 goals and 2 assists against the Quebec Nordiques. I believe everybody played all their games. It appears so. Kind of curious, I don't do this often, like check after the season is over to look. So the best goal scorer was Mike Bossy. He had 63 goals. And keep in mind, he got like those injury problems in March or something, like he was hurt a couple times. Kent Nilsson ended up this season being the best passer with 83 assists and the most points. Wayne Gretzky with 138. All right. We are going to advance until we have the playoff 3. Kind of hope that I don't think we're facing the Montreal Canadiens in the first round, so that's gonna be nice to be facing a different team. I don't care who it is, just a different team. Alright, so lots of players have been put on waivers. Let's take a look. Alright, so Meyer, Campbell, Good, Murdoch, Beaton, Songin, Klutzy, Bergman, Murdoch, Garner, Vasco, Hart, Bennett. Lots of names that we've seen plenty of times in that particular situation. Alright, and they have announced the nominees for all of the trophies. We're going to go through that here real quick. So for the art, it's going to be between Kent Nilsson, Mike Bossy, and Wayne Gretzky. Vizina is going to be between Bob Sauvé, Dan Bouchard, and Glenn Hanlon. Norris between Borje Salming, Dick Redmond, and Larry Robinson. Calder is going to be between Denis Savard, Paul Coffey, and Ryo Rustalainen. Denis Savard had a 66-point season. Paul Coffey had a 61-point season. And Rustalainen had a 86-point season. Ooh, I think he might win it. GM of the year is going to be between Fred Shiro, Larry Gordon, and Punch Imlach. The Selkie between Bill Barber, Bob Gainey, and Craig Ramsey. Lady Bing between Kent Nilsson, Mike Bossy, and Peter McNabb. The Mark Messier Leadership Award between Bob Gainey, Bobby Clark, and Darryl Sittler. Ted Lindsay between Kent Nilsson, Mike Bossy, and Wayne Gretzky. And the Jack Adams between Bernie Jeffrion, Fred Shiro, and Glenn Sater. Alright, so the only nominee we have is Paul Coffey, and I don't think he's going to win it. I think that Rustalainen is going to win the Calder. But anyway. Alright, so let's see here. Ooh, we are facing the Edmonton Oilers in the first round of the playoffs. That's a team we've had success against, and we have like all of their former players that are going to be motivated, right? Alright, oh, the Leafs have claimed Jim Meyer off of waivers from the Rangers, so they have added a little bit of depth for the playoffs. Oh, I wanted to check, yeah, I wanted to check this. No, that is still a click. Even though Mark Renault is not on the team anymore. So just being in the organization matters, I suppose. Alright, so the playoffs start here against the Edmonton Oilers. Now remember, we are in 1981, so it is a best 3 out of 5, not a best 4 out of 7 in the first round. So we are going to be starting this in Edmonton. I want to take a look at the I find that fascinating to see who plays against whom in the first round with that playoff format. Right, so St. Louis against Montreal, Vancouver against the New York Rangers, Pittsburgh against Boston, Hartford against Edmonton, the Nordiques against the Islanders, Chicago's facing Buffalo, Toronto against Philadelphia, and Calgary against Minnesota. So not a whole lot of like weird matchups, but a couple for sure. Alright, so let's go ahead and play. Oh no, wait, we're going to take a look at Edmonton. So first of all, we were 2-1-1 against Edmonton this season, so we won the season series. Can we beat them in the best 3 out of 5? That remains to be seen. Okay, they have a lot of injuries, so that might help. So Rob McClanahan is hurt, not gonna play. Cam Connor is hurt, not gonna play. Lee Fogolin is hurt, not gonna play. Markow, in good old Markow fashion, he's hurt, he's not gonna play, at least at the start. Semenko and Gretzky are hurt but are able to play. Oh, Gretzky's playing with a fractured cheekbone. It's a 1 to 2 month injury that they're making him play through. All right. That's gonna be interesting. Like they're banged up. We're not. We're pretty healthy. That's rare. That's really rare that the computer gives me a healthy team heading into the playoffs. I'm not used to that. I don't know how to react. All right. So in Edmonton. Yeah, let's go, guys. We can do this. Gilles Gilbert is going to start the series in net for us, and Eddie Mayo is going to be in net for the Oilers, and of course, go Oilers go. It's playoffs time. Let's see if we can win a round this year. That would be great. Not a great start till we lost 6-2 on the road, so we got schooled here. We did outshoot Edmonton 36-31. We didn't get the saves. Callaghan was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals and an assist. Siltanen was the second star with 2 assists, and McDonald was the third star with a goal and an assist. Oilers scored the first 2 goals of the game, and then Bob Stevenson scored from Jay Wells and Mark Messier. It was 2-1 Edmonton after 1. Then in the second period, we tied the game. Mike Rogers from Glenn Anderson and Jordy Douglas. It was tied at 2, but the Oilers scored twice. They were up 4-2 here after 2. Then they added 2 more goals in the third period, and that was a loss, folks. We lost this 6-2. And Mike Rogers and Greg Carroll are hurt. Now, Greg Carroll is going to be able to play Mike Rogers. I don't know. Now, what I hope is going to happen is that they move Mark Messier to center. Rogers is day-to-day, but I don't think he's going to be able to play. With a minor facial cut, what the hell are you talking about, dude? Wayne Gretzky's playing with a fractured jaw, man. Go back in there. Nobody cares that your face is scratched. Mario Tremblay lights the lamp. He had 4 goals against the Blues in an 8-0 trouncing. And memorable game for Bob McMillan with the Flames. He had 4 assists. Alright, so let's see. Philadelphia beat Toronto. Buffalo beat Chicago. Calgary beat Minnesota. Islanders beat the Nordiques. We lost against Edmonton. Montreal trounced St. Louis. Boston beat Pittsburgh. And the Rangers beat Vancouver. Alright, so I do have spares. Yeah, Mike Rogers is not going to be able to play. That's a little bit bullshit, but it is what it is. Unable to play with his little scratch in his face. Alright, let's see what they do for the center situation here. No, they're keeping Mark Messier at on the wing, and Rick Aduano is going to be our first line center for this game. I'm skeptical. Alright, so yeah, let's go. Gilles Gilbert is going to be in net for us again. Eddie Mayo in net for Edmonton again, of course. Go Oilers go. We lost 6-4. Alright, so we are facing elimination, going back home to play game number 3. And we outshot Edmonton again, 35-27, so we're just not getting the goaltending. So Siltanen was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals and an assist. Jay Wells was the second star with a goal and 2 assists. And McDonald was the third star with 3 assists. Edmonton scored the first goal of the game. Then Dave Poulin tied the game from Jay Wells and Brian Baltimore. It was tied at 1 here in the first period, but Edmonton scored 2 more goals. It was 3-1 Edmonton here after 1. In the second period, Jay Wells scored to bring us a win in 1 from Mark Messier and Dave Poulin. Then Edmonton scored twice. It was 5-2. Mark Messier scored from Jay Wells. It was 5-3 Edmonton. They added one more goal into the third period, made it 6-3, and then with 4 seconds left to go in the game, Glenn Anderson scored from Jordy Douglas and Brent Sutter. Of course, it was too late. Now, Paul Coffey has been very quiet in those 2 games. I'm not liking this, but he's very young, so I guess I'm going to forgive him. Alright, we're going to go ahead and advance one more. Oh, let's see. Philadelphia beat Toronto. Chicago beat Buffalo. Calgary beat Minnesota. Islanders beat Quebec. We lost. Montreal beat St. Louis. Boston beat Pittsburgh. And Rangers beat Vancouver. Lots of teams are facing elimination here. Mike Rogers ready for full contact. Jeez, I hope so. He still can't play. Alright, so we're at home playing against the Oilers again. We are facing elimination. We lost the first 2 games in Edmonton. Eddie Mio in net, Gilles Gilbert in net for us. Go Hartford, go. Let's not get swept. That would be very sad. And we won 7-5, showing some resilience here. And now Mike Rogers might come back. Oh, the turn of events here. We were outshot 32-30. Mark Messier was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals and 2 assists. Wayne Gretzky was the second star with a goal and 3 assists. And Gordy Roberts was the third star with 2 goals and an assist. 10,246 people came for playoff action here in Hartford at the Excel Center. Edmonton scored the first 2 goals of the game. Then Mark Messier scored from Rick Aduono and Wilf Payment. It was 2-1 Edmonton after 1. Then Dave Poulin tied the game in the second from Bo Berglund and Gordy Roberts. Then former waiter Mark Howe scored. It was 3-2 Edmonton. Then Mark Messier scored from Rick Aduono and Wilf Payment. And then Edmonton scored again. It was 4-3 Edmonton after 2. Then they made it 5-3, and it looked like they were going to just cruise to the second round. But then we scored 4 unanswered goals. Brent Sutter from Glenn Anderson and Jordy Douglas. Then Chuck Clefley on the power play from Paul Coffey and Wilf Payment. Gordy Roberts scored from Rick Aduono and Mark Messier. And then finally, Gordy Roberts scored in an empty net from Mark Messier. 7-5 the final score. Right, what do we have here? Guy Chouinard has a strong game. He had a hat-trick against the Canucks. Bussy's day-to-day with an injury again. Memorable game from Mike McEwen. He had a goal and 4 assists against the Blackhawks. Oh, Jean Rattel might retire at the end of the season. He is 40 years old, 2.5-star player, playing for the Bruins. Greg Carroll feeling better. Oh, I forgot to look at the scores from the other matchups. I'm sorry. It happens. Greg Carroll is completely recovered, and Mike Rogers is feeling better, so is he coming back? Yeah, Mike Rogers is more than likely going to play hurt. I guess we can take a look. Let's see. Ooh, St. Louis managed to win a game. Vancouver got swept. Pittsburgh got swept. Quebec got swept. Everybody else is still alive. Alright, so now we are at home again, playing against the Oilers. Apparently we are getting Mike Rogers back. We do, playing on the first line where he belongs. Well, probably belong on the second line behind Mark Messier, but it is what it is on my team. Mark Messier is now a winger. Eddie Mio is going to be in net for the Oilers. Gilles Gilbert in net for us. And of course, go Oilers go. Let's tie the series. Let's make it to 5 games like we did last year against the Habs. A 4-1 win. We're going back to Edmonton for a Game 5, folks. 4-1 win. We outshot Edmonton 32-25. Sorry. Rick Aduono was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 2 assists. Jordy Douglas was the second star with 2 goals, and Gordy Roberts was the third star with an assist. 9,982 people are going back home really happy. Darren Veitch opened up the scoring on the power play from Mike Rogers and Chuck Clefley. Then Jordy Douglas from Rick Aduono and Rob Ramage. 2-0 Hartford after 1. Then in the second period, we had Jordy Douglas score from Rick Aduano and Paul Coffey. Then the Hoarders scored. It was 3-1 Hartford here after 2. And then in the third period, Rick Aduano scored on the power play from Mark Messier and Gordy Roberts. 4-1 the final score here for Hartford. Oh yeah, this is getting interesting. However, Glenn Anderson got hurt. Probably too busy being in a clique. Alright, so we're gonna need to see what happened to Glenn Anderson here. Oh, he's out for 5 months. Yeah, he's not playing again. What happened to him? Partially torn UCL for Glenn Anderson. Alright, so we're gonna see you next season. Big game for Pierre Larouche in Buffalo. He had 3 goals and an assist against the Blackhawks, and Mike Rogers feeling almost completely 100%. Glenn Anderson, you go to the injury list, sir. And we're gonna go ahead and recall somebody to take your place. I have a lot of right wingers. Oh, who do I recall? Do I want a face puncher? Sorry if I'm quiet, I'm looking at everybody's stats. I think I'm gonna go with Ray Allison. He did score 91 points. I mean, he might not even play, I don't know. But yeah, he's the one we're going to go with. He has a 10 in quite a few things, so he can be versatile if needed. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and advance here. Oh, I forgot to look at the other scores again. And Mike Rogers is completely recovered. Let's take a look here. Ooh, St. Louis is making Montreal sweat. So Montreal sweating in the first round for the second year in a row. They did that against us last season as well. Took a 2-0 lead, and then we won 2, but we managed to lose the final game. Ooh. Okay, so Buffalo eliminated Chicago. The Flames eliminated Minnesota, so there's 3 series still going. Toronto, Philadelphia, us against Edmonton, and St. Louis, Montreal. So that's 3 series going to the limit in the first round. Of course, we are in Edmonton to play. Yeah, Ray Allison's gonna play. Gilles Gilbert's gonna be in net for us. Eddie Mio in net for Edmonton. Game 5, that's do or die, folks. Let's go Waiters. We lost 4-2, so we lost in the first round again this year. Now next year, I'm expecting better things from the team. But another first round exit this season. Although the season in itself went better overall than the first season, so there was progress. But a 4-2 loss, so the home team won every single game in that series. We were outshot 36-27 in that one. Siltanen was the first star of the game. He had a goal. Bob Stevenson was the second star with 2 assists. And Wire was the third star with a goal and an assist. Darren Veitch opened up the scoring in the first period from Greg Carroll and Bob Stevenson. And Edmonton tied a game before the end of the period. It was 2-1 Edmonton after 1. Edmonton scored twice in the second period, took a 3-1 lead. Then Jordy Douglas brought us to within 1 from Bob Stevenson and Jay Wells. It was 3-2 Edmonton. After 2, there was a fight between Tom Rolston and Paul Coffey. Then, of course, in the third period, Edmonton added 1 more goal, and it was a 4-2 loss and the end of the Hartford Whalers season in 1980-1981. Larry Robinson set everything up tonight. He had a goal and 4 assists against St. Louis, so Montreal eliminated the Blues with a 7-4 win. And Matty Hagman was playing with injury, team reveals. Yeah, I knew. Everybody knew. Alright. So let's see. And then the Flyers eliminated Toronto. So let's see about the second round here. Let's see what's in store for the Stanley Cup playoffs here. So Calgary is going to be in Montreal, Buffalo is going to be in Boston, the New York Islanders are going to be in Edmonton, and the Flyers are going to be at the New York Rangers. All right. So not a whole lot of surprises. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. The only surprise is that the 9th place team beat the 8th place team. So that was the only surprise. Not much of a surprise. And so Calgary, Montreal, Buffalo, Boston, New York Islanders, Edmonton, and Philadelphia Rangers. Go, go, go. Let's see what happens here. Tony McKinney got suspended in his game against Boston. He is going to miss 3 games. Right, so the Flyers beat the Rangers, Edmonton beat the Islanders, Montreal beat Calgary, and Buffalo beat Boston. Rob Ramage is day-to-day. What did you do, dude? Oh, you're practicing while the team is eliminated, and now you got a jammed finger. Sucks to be you, dude. You should be taking it easy like everybody else. Yeah, I know that Rob Ramage is hurt. It doesn't matter. We're not playing anymore. Passes on point for Rick Middleton. He had 4 assists against the Sabres. Flyers beat the Rangers. Islanders beat Edmonton, Calgary beat Montreal, and Boston trounced Buffalo 8-1. Alright, now Philadelphia beat the Rangers, Edmonton beat the Islanders, Calgary beat Montreal, they're leading 2-1 in their series, and Boston shut out Buffalo 4-0. Alright, so after 3 games, the Rangers are facing elimination against the Flyers. That would be an upset. Other than that, all series are 2-1. Alright, what does it say here? Tony McKinney is back from suspension in Buffalo, and Rob Ramage is going to come back soon from injury. Flyers swept the Rangers, and I forgot to say second round starts as a best out of 7 again, like, you know, in current 2023 playoff format. It's only the first round that is a best out of 5. Edmonton beat the Islanders 2-1, Montreal beat Calgary 3-0, and Buffalo beat Boston 4-1. Alright. Montreal beat Calgary, Boston beat Buffalo, and Edmonton beat the Islanders. Are there more series that are over? Yeah, the Oilers not upset, but they beat the Islanders in 5 games. So the other 2 series still alive. Oh, the scouting from you. Don't care. Montreal eliminated Calgary and Boston eliminated Buffalo, so we are going to the semifinals here. Bill Asht is injured in Buffalo. He's going to miss 7 months. I don't even know if he's going to be ready for he's not going to be ready for the start of the next season. And I to remember for Craig McTavish, he had a hat trick in that last game against the Sabres. The most sold Hartford jerseys in the month of April with payment: John Garrett, Mark Messier, Gordy Roberts, and Darren Veitch. Let's take a look at our development report. Alright, so this guy keeps getting points. I like that. Kent Carlson. Randy Connyward got a point of acceleration. Don Gillen. Bill Kitchen. Sam St. Laurent getting better. I like that. Bo Berglund getting a little bit better. He's 26 though, so he's not gonna do much of improving. Dave Pulling got some acceleration. Brent Sutter, balance, screening, hitting. Mike Stodders, aggression, puck handling, shot blocking. Anders Carlson. And those guys are getting worse. A lot of them I'm not bringing back anyway, so it doesn't affect me too much. And the most jerseys sold in April in the entire NHL was Guy Lafleur. Makes sense. Okay, let me just check something. Let's make sure we're good here, though. Baltimore, Alcy, Schultz, Nethery, and Gavin. Oh, Nethery I should probably resign, huh? Or maybe not. Maybe I just let him go. I don't think he's improving enough to become a player. I'll use the contract slot for something more useful instead. Alright, so we advance. So the semifinals are going to be Philadelphia against Montreal and Edmonton against Boston. Oh, I have to select a Hall of Fame nominee. Alright, let's nominate somebody. Bob Nevin, Jean-Guy Talbot, Vic Hadfield, Bobby Rousseau, Phil Gaillet. Man, I don't think I've heard of any of those guys. I'm gonna go with Gary Bergman because I think I've heard of him before. I could be wrong, so there you go. I'm nominating you. I might not even vote for you. Alright, so the semifinals are underway. And Philadelphia beat Montreal and Edmonton beat Boston. Montreal beat Philadelphia and Boston beat Edmonton, both series tied at 1. Philadelphia beat Montreal and Boston beat Edmonton, so Philadelphia and Boston are both up 2-1 in their respective series. Brian Baltimore is ready for contact. I didn't even know you were hurt, man. You need to communicate those things. I'm not your dad. Right, Montreal beat Philadelphia 3-1. The series tied. Boston took a 3-1 lead in their series with a 4-3 win in Edmonton. So Edmonton facing off against elimination. Right, Brian Baltimore feeling better. Montreal took a 3-2 lead here against the Flyers in their series, and Edmonton is still alive, but they are trading 3-2 in their series. So we might have a Stanley Cup final between Montreal and Boston, maybe. Brian Baltimore not far from returning. Right, Montreal eliminated Philadelphia and Boston eliminated Edmonton, so we are going to have a Stanley Cup final between the Montreal Canadiens and the Boston Bruins. Of course, go Boston, go. We don't want for Montreal to win nothing. They won the series last year, the Stanley Cup last year. That was a very sad time already as it was. And Boston won the first game 4-1. Go Boston, go. Go Boston, go. They won the second game 3-1, and Brian Engblom in Montreal is suspended and he's going to miss 2 games. The 2 games in Boston he's going to miss. So Boston won the first 2 games on the road. Now they're going home with a 2-0 lead. That's very important. When they're talking about home ice advantage, that's what they mean. Oof. There's no home ice advantage in that series. Montreal coming in Boston with a mission, and they won 7-1 against the Bruins. Bruins still up 2-1 in the series against the Habs. Boston won 5-4. They are one win away from winning the Stanley Cup. Brian England is back from suspension in Montreal. The series is going to move to Montreal, where Boston might win the Stanley Cup in front of the Montreal fans, who are going to be really pissed if that's what happens. Oh, Montreal is still alive. They won that game 5-4. New pads for Richard Brada. I'm not sure what that's going to do, but he has new pads. Right, so the series moves back to Boston. Boston might win the cup in front of their fans. And they didn't. Montreal won 4-3. This Stanley Cup Finals going 7 games. I really don't want for Montreal to win it again. It's going to really affect my desire to continue playing. I don't like when Montreal does well. The only reason that I am able to tolerate it is that I know that they have a really stacked team. Even with all of the trades that they made and everything, they have a really stacked team back in those days. Oh my god, Montreal came back from being down 3-1 to finally won the Stanley Cup with a 5-3 win in the last game in Montreal. Ugh. Yeah, alright. So Montreal won again. Now it's not gonna start happening starting next season because they're gonna have the Hartford Whalers in their path, and the Whalers are gonna be competitive next season. I need to find a goaltender and some wingers. Maybe I steal them from the Habs, and then they are left with nothing. Maybe that's what's going to happen. Motherfucking Habs. So we're going to go ahead and advance until the end of the season, until June 30th, and that's where I'm going to stop, as usual. That's so sad. Matty Hagman is almost recovered, and Tim Young has been put on the block by Minnesota. Alright, May scouting update from Bill Deneen. Don't really care. Matty Hagman says he's ready. That's good. So that just leaves Glenn Anderson. That's hurt. I don't even know if he's going to be fully recovered for the start of the next season. Let's see, 3 to 4 months. Yeah, he's going to be ready for this. He might miss like training camp or part of it. He should be fine though. Top-selling Hartford Whalers jersey for May, John Garrett with payment, Mark Messier, Gordy Roberts, and Darren Veitch. And development report. Alright, so Paul Coffey getting better agility and hitting. I will take that. Dave Poulin speed passing and checking. Pretty good for Dave Poulin there. Prince Sutter, Mike Stodders, John Newberry. And the most sold jerseys in the entire NHL, Serge Savard in Montreal. Right, we're going to continue advancing. Oh, I have to vote. That's always fun. I have to vote for Hall of Fame, so we're going to go with Johnny Busick. I'm going to go with Andy Bathgate. I think Ken Hudge was pretty good. And I guess Frank Mahavlich, why not? There you go. Alright, those guys are feeling better. So I know we're going one day at a time and there's not a whole lot going on. Just bear with me. We're getting there. Getting at the end of June. Ooh, Edmonton might be moving Doug Hicks. Oh, alright, so I have this guy. This guy's a scout, and his contract expires. You know how I work for that. Saying not possible. Why? You are already with the team, so I guess I have to reject you. Then Adam Winkelmann, he's an assistant coach. What's your role? What is your role? Winkelmann, are you the... No, you're my offensive coach and you're pretty decent at it. I'm keeping you. You're not bad. I'm keeping you. Right, so now I have to hire myself another scout. Can I do that now? Oh yeah, Sam Pollock. There you go. Hired Sam Pollock, but as a scout. There you go. Yep. Alright, so I replaced the one scout that was, you know, unreliable. Hilliard Graves injures his foot while changing tire. Warren Metter trade rumored, so Warren Metter put on the block by the Rangers. Alright, the awards are on the next day. Yeah, today is the awards. Right, so who wins the art? Wayne Gretzky. Who wins the Connie Smythe, the playoff MVP? I'm gonna say Guy Lafleur. Larry Robinson, 28 points in 24 games as a defenseman. The Calder is probably gonna be Rustalainen. Yeah. The Norris is... Oh my god, I don't know who's gonna win it. Borje Salming, 79 points in 78 games. The Selke, Bill Barber. The Vizina probably gonna be Bob Sauvé, I'm guessing. No, Dan Bouchard in Calgary. The GM of the year is Fred Shiro with the Rangers, and the best coach, Fred Shiro with the Rangers. And we saw all of that. Okay, the only thing that's different is that here none of our players made the All-Star teams, so let's move on. Ooh. Glenn Sonmore loses job with North Stars, so he's not the coach anymore. He's replaced by Terry Crisp. Al McNeil is not the coach in Calgary anymore. He's replaced by Don Cherry. Oh, Don Cherry's going to be happy. He's at the head of a good Canadian boy team, the Calgary Flames. Dan Belial is not the coach in Washington anymore. He's replaced by John Muckler. And Glenn Sater is over in Edmonton. He's replaced by Claire Drake. That would have been funny to see John Muckler end up in Edmonton. Alright, we're going to continue advancing here. And so Dennis Ververgaard has been put on the block by the Flyers. Sorry about that. A little bit of acid reflux or whatever. Alright, so John Davidson has been put on the block by the Rangers. Will Bob Murdoch be traded? New Jim Dory trade rumor. Lots of rumors, not a whole lot of action. Daryl Maggs on the block. Greg Polish on the block as well. Serge Savard is on the block. And Rick Smith. Alright. Winnipeg reported to be offering up Wayne Dillon. We're almost there, folks. One more day. Alright, so I scored a measly 15 points again. Same thing as last season. Alright, so, alright. Lauren Henning has been put on the block. And Jim Mayer has been put on the block as well. Alright, folks, that's where we're going to stop for today. Next time out, of course, we have the off-season, which is always something that I look forward to. I never know what's going to be available. Like, it's almost like Christmas, you know? It's like there's all those presents in the form of hockey players, and I just don't know which ones I'm going to get, so I'm getting excited and everything. And then, of course, sometimes it can lead to disappointment as well. I think I had a pretty good off-season last time out. Hopefully this time I'm going to have another good off-season in terms of signing players and who the computer is going to draft for me. I think the computer drafted actually pretty well. I was pretty surprised the first time out. I was expecting a complete fucking fire tire, to be honest with you. And, you know, I got quite a few useful pieces for the future. Of course, not all of them are going to be superstars. That's impossible. But, you know, like Darren Veitch made the team. You know, Brent Sutter played some games. Randy Kennywort is still coming. I use I Can Lube for that mega trade. So, you know, there's hope. So, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and save the game now. Next time out again, off season, so look forward to it. That's probably gonna be next Monday, but for now that's gonna be it. ARG out. If you're catching this on YouTube and you like the video, you know what to do. And until next time, ARG says, see you folks later. Bye.